Isha123 asked a question, and we'll see if we can get an answer. She says, I bought your book and I loved it. I see you advocate for a vegan diet in order to keep our cells alive. I just have two questions. Question one, I'm a woman and I'm very thin. It doesn't look good on me to lose weight. I'm vegetarian at the moment. I eat eggs and dairy. I became vegetarian during my teens when I was around 14 because of religious reasons. I was very interested in yoga and Hinduism, and I read books which said that meat would stop me from reaching the higher chakras and from evolving spiritually. But about the vegan diet, if I stop eating eggs and dairy, how can I have a healthy weight and not look too thin? Okay, great question. There's also a part two, but we may not get to that. But I will reference something you said in your second question. So, Isha, the first thing that comes to mind is I can relate. I can definitely relate as someone who's been thin all my life. I'm 5'9.5", and I weigh on a good day, I weigh 135 or so, and after this recent fast, I'm down to 122, and even as I build back up, I probably won't get past 130, 131, 132. And throughout all my life, I've always wanted to be bigger. So when in high school, I had started lifting weights. I was drinking a lot of milk and raw eggs and everything that I could in an effort to bulk up. But after a point, I realized something, and this is what I'd like to get across to you. It's likely that the image that a lot of us have, a lot of us in various societies have an image of what health looks like, an image of what prosperity and success looks like, and usually that represents someone who's actually overweight. So we have this image. I remember growing up in Jamaica, we had a stereotypical body type, called the big belly man. The big belly man is nothing negative. In fact, it refers to someone who's prosperous, someone who might be a business owner, someone of high standing in the community, whose girth indicates that they're well taken care of, and also they have a certain amount of power. So it's a positive. But after a while, I realized something, that I had to make a choice, had to make a decision. And here's what I'd like to suggest to you. The way I'm going to answer this question is to help you get beyond the point of asking that question ever again, is to reach a point where you make a decision based on what I'm going to share with you, and then make that your decision moving forward, and there's no need to question it after that. One of the tenets of the Ageless Adept philosophy is that you are your own authority. All right, you are your own authority. You can make decisions on your own. So what I'd like to suggest is at some point you're going to make a decision as to whether your health is more important or whether your image is more important. And I can't tell you which one is correct. I mean, you can decide that for yourself. Some people may decide that they'd rather look a certain way rather than feel a certain way, and that's legitimate, if that's their decision. But you'll have to make a choice. I had to make a choice, knowing that once I became vegan, I dropped another 10 points. So the most I've ever weighed was 148, 150. And after becoming vegan, I was down to 130, 135. And I had to make a decision as to whether I wanted to be vegan, feel healthy, feel light, feel good, or whether I wanted to bulk up and appear to be a different sort of person. And I chose the former. I chose to make my health the priority. So that's what I'm going to suggest that this boils down to. You even said in a section of question 2 that your digestion is better when you are not eating meat and dairy. So you have your own evidence. You have your own experiment that proves to yourself. That's not a fluke. That's not just an opinion. You have your life experience that tells you your digestion is better when you're on a vegan diet, on a vegetarian diet. So why would you not continue that? Knowing that your digestion is better, why didn't you continue? And I can speculate that you didn't continue because there was a conflict between the way you were perceived, the way you perceived yourself, Perhaps you want to appear a certain way. People tell you that having more meat on your bones is desirable. Let's say you're looking for a partner, and you want to be a certain size so that you can appeal to that person. I, as a guy, we'll have different experiences, but it's the same thing with guys. I may want to be bigger, more muscular, but after a while, I just decided that I'm going to be who I am. I'm going to be who my body determines that I am, and I will be attracted to and attractive to people who I'm in sync with. Because if I present myself as something other than what I am, then that's going to be a struggle. That's going to be a challenge for the rest of my life. There's a saying that says, the way you get them is the way you keep them, meaning the things you have to do and the person who you have to become in order to attract a particular mate is the way that you'll have to continue, the things that you'll have to continue doing, and the way that you'll have to continue being in order to keep that person. So the question is, do you want to keep up that facade? Do you want to be something other than what you're not? Or would you rather project an image of who you are, what your metabolism says you are, what your body type says you are? Or would you want to put up a facade to present a different image? And I'm hoping that you'll make that decision and that you can move forward. So if you decide, for example, that you're going to focus on health, you're going to make health the priority, you make that decision and you don't ask again, how can you keep or how can you not eat milk and dairy but have the same results? That's just the flip side of another coin that another question that people ask, which is essentially, how can I keep eating the bad stuff but get healthy results? And what you're asking is the converse of that, which is, how can I stop eating the bad stuff but have the same outcome as when I was eating the bad stuff? So I'm going to suggest you that your metabolism is a certain way, your body type is a certain way, and the weight that you are when you're not eating meat is a normal, healthy weight, and that's what your body says you should be. If you attempt to do something other than that, if you attempt now to eat foods that make you bigger and bulkier, you'll be doing a disservice. You'll be doing your body a disservice. So the short answer to your question, which I should have started with, is when you asked, how can I, if I stop eating eggs and dairy, how can I have a healthy weight and not look too thin? The answer might be you can't, and you shouldn't want to, meaning your body is going to be what it is, and you'll be able to tell by how healthy you feel, how light you feel, how vibrant, how vigorous, and how your level of energy and vitality, and that's your normal weight. If it's at odds with what society says, well, then you've made that decision. I've made that decision. I'm much skinnier than other people in my peer group, but I'm happy with it because that's where the weight and the size that I feel the best. So no need for me to ask that question anymore. I don't want to eat a diet that's going to make me bigger and bulkier if I'm going to compromise and sacrifice my health and longevity as a result. So make that decision. Decide for yourself if you're going to allow your body and your metabolism to decide what weight you are, and commit to health, or if you're going to attempt to do things that keep you at a certain weight so that you'll conform to what society says you should be. I hope you make the right decision. Again, it's entirely up to you. Sometimes that changes with your age, sometimes it changes with your experiences, sometimes it changes after you have a medical crisis. Not wishing that on you, but make that decision. You don't have to keep asking that question. There are some stable truths upon which the philosophy is based, and those will never change. And one of those truths is simply that your body has a certain ideal weight, ideal girth, and anything that you do to attempt to change that and increase that is doing you a disservice. So I hope that's helpful. So the answer to your question again is you can't, and you probably shouldn't. All right, so hopefully you'll get beyond it. Just commit, make the decision, decide which way you're going to go. Either you're going to do things to keep yourself healthy, or you're going to do things to conform to what society says you should look like, or what you think you should look like based on societal, cultural, relationship, gender expectations. So I hope that's helpful. A little longer than usual, but I'll answer part 2 in another video. Talk to you soon.